Shh, shh. The podcast is starting. Welcome to the OT Download, from practice to podcast. This is where we unpack everything you didn't know you needed to know about occupational therapy. Whether you're an OT, an OTA, a student, or simply curious, this is your place to explore the real stories, challenges, and opportunities shaping our profession. Each episode will dive into fresh topics from ethics to AI in practice, to the dynamics between OTs and AHAs, the differences between community and medico-legal work, and even what it's like stepping into the courtroom. You'll hear honest conversations on mental health, well-being, boundaries, and early career experiences, alongside insights from lawyers, allied health professionals, and other experts. We'll bust common misconceptions and shine a light on the parts of OT that don't always get spoken about. So if you're ready for insights, stories, and a no-nonsense take on occupational therapy, this is your download. Let's get into it.
Welcome back to the OT Download. Today we're going to be exploring how workplace culture influences how we work, support, and lead each other every single day in occupational therapy. I'm Jazz. I'm MLEA's People and Culture Coordinator, and essentially my role is to ensure that everyone feels valued and engaged in the workplace, and also just to make sure everyone feels safe and comfortable in their work environment.
I'm Ali. I'm the practice manager at MLEA. My role focuses on the systems and structures behind recruitment and retention and what it takes to build sustainable teams.
And I'm Chelsea. I'm the community OT team leader, and a large part of my role is focusing on staff wellbeing, sustainable workloads, and facilitating OT growth without burnout.
Together we're going to be unpacking what healthy OT workplaces look like, why culture matters so much, and what teams and leaders can do differently.
All right, Jazz. Being our People and Culture Coordinator, how would you define workplace culture?
From my perspective, workplace culture is everyone working towards one goal, and that's to be in a safe and happy environment.
I think culture goes beyond more than just the task that we're trying to do. It's like how the team works together, like Jazz said, how safe the environment feels to be able to raise ideas and contribute in a productive way as a team. Like, it's more than just having the policies in place, it's actually living it out together.
What kind of things do you think contribute to that?
I think having a set of values definitely is a major part of our culture specifically, and I think it would benefit a lot of workplaces to have values, because you don't realise how important they are until you're in the work, because then you start realising how much they come up and you resonate with it over time. Like, when I started, I'd never really been in a workplace where there were values set in place. So when I first kind of heard about them, I was like, okay, cool, like, we've got values. But, you know, over time, through the work that I do, I go, okay, how can we do a cultural initiative that's going to relate back to one of our values? So, for example, a Valentine's Day activity last year, we did vision boards for the year. And one of our core values is empowerment. It's really not hard to live out the values once you kind of understand them, I suppose.
Seems so basic, doesn't it? Like, you look at any company website and they've got values written on it, but you're like, what are you actually doing with that? What does that actually mean? And I suppose, like, they're not always about culture either. They're about, you know, what the business is as a whole, and that's not always to do with their staff members. That's to do with how they function as a business. But I think it's really great that, you know, being in a team where we actually are connected to those values. Like, I think almost everybody in the team, you could ask them what our values are and they'd be able to recite them back to you. Jazz, go on. What are our values?
Empowerment, innovation, integrity, and I've missed one. Motivation. Collaboration. Oh my god, I can't believe I got that wrong.
Chels, how do you find you connect to the values on a day-to-day?
This workplace for me has been very different to all the other ones that I've worked in. And I think something really unique that has made such a big difference for me with the values, but I also feel like with everyone, is that they weren't values that were made from management that were just enforced to, like, be expected to be trickled down and that everyone would just adopt them. It was actually really cool because we sat down as the entire company and developed them all together based on what was really important for everybody. So it made it so much easier to adopt the values and find people who meshed well with those values because they were designed by us.
I think that was one of the very first weeks or meetings that I had when I came into the business. It was like so early on, and we all sat down and we did one of our strategy days, which we do, I think, every 6 months. As a whole team, come together and be like, you know, what's working well? What are we doing? What do we want to start doing? All of those things. And it's like, okay, we're completely redoing the values.
Yeah.
What matters to you? What is going to make you thrive in this workplace?
I think what I like what you said before about other workplaces, where their values, you know, could be more operational or organizational, that the power of what we're talking about now, of all of us as a company creating the values, is that it's a mixture of both. We've got innovation, you know, you've got that in a cultural perspective where we're constantly innovating to do more as a team, and then you've got it in a clinical setting as well, when you're an OT and you're innovating ways to like assist your clients, I suppose.
Absolutely.
So I really like how our values kind of tie in both.
Well, you were pretty much an embodiment of that, because like we're very lucky to have someone that is sole position is to be in charge of people and culture and to be promoting these things. But that wasn't a position that was around when you started. That was a position that was created around you. So can you tell us a little bit about that kind of progress and how that came to be?
So I started at MLEA as an admin trainee, and over time I just kind of noticed little gaps, I suppose, in how we work. I mean, and I had these great role models like Chelsea Beagling, one of our directors. She was, I guess, the HR of our company at the time when I started, and I really looked up to the way that she worked, and we had kind of initiatives in place. But I kind of just was like, I was in charge of doing the staff events as an admin trainee. And I was like, but I really want a bit more than that, you know? And so I remember one of the first things I said was like, are you okay day? I said, do we do anything like that? Can we do something like that? And we did our first Are You Okay Day. And then over time I just kind of started going, I liked doing that. I think everyone liked doing that. Let's do more of it. And so, yeah, I guess over time, my admin role grew, and I expressed my interest in wanting to be in HR. Ali is a massive advocate for me in terms of my role. And she started giving me things over time that could put me into more of the HR world than admin.
Can you give us a list of kind of the things that you're responsible for or that you do in your role?
My role, staff engagement, is a massive thing. So that includes monthly wellness days, which really can vary to anything. It's really what I come up with, and then also, I guess, get feedback from everyone.
Morning teas, bake-offs, bring your dog to work
Yeah.
day. I loved the vision board activity. That was
Yeah.
one of my favourite ones that we did.
Yeah, we started doing some volunteering last year for Brave Hearts. So Reagan, Luke and I all went down to their golf day and just helped out with doing raffle tickets, which was fulfilling in its own. And then, yeah, wanting to grow on that so everyone is involved in it over time. We also, I guess, try to do a lot as a team outside of work as well, and that's completely optional, of course, but social nights. We just, if we want to do dinner, or Belen, our COT support, she hosts a paella night every single year, and we all love those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. And it's just small things over time that I just think connect us more as a workplace.
The product of all of your effort and your role developing in the way it has been like felt by everyone in the office. I really think that the friendships and the effort to being connected as a team is more now than it has ever been, and I think that it then feeds into like how we support each other and the vibe in the office. Like everyone gets along so well and is like such good friends now more than they have been, and I do think that that's a product of all the effort that you've put into your role.
And it's not that people aren't capable or couldn't do it themselves, but it's small things that just kind of enable that. Like we do Team Break Tuesdays, where we just like block in people's calendars time for everyone to actually sit down and have lunch together. Or even things like, I really loved the riddle thing that you threw into the lunchroom, because it gave people something to talk about when they're in the lunchroom. When you walk into a workplace, you don't know anyone. Often you don't know how to start a conversation, even though like we're all adults here. But like it's nice to have those little things that kind of give you an excuse to connect.
And then all of a sudden you've created all of these mutual experiences and activities for people to bond over. And it's, even for new starters, I think that makes such a massive difference.
Yeah.
I guess why all of this is so important is because at the end of the day, you want something that's going to separate you from your work life a bit, even when you're at work.
For sure.
And I suppose a big thing for me when I organise all these things at the start of the year is that I want them to be things that aren't directly related to OT. The whole purpose of them is to escape from the everyday constant, like, I guess, mental toll that your job does take on you. So I think, it's great to be able to pull you guys away from that, I guess.
Absolutely.
And just so you guys have fun.
Yeah. And I think clinical work can be really demanding, and it's really nice when you do have something in the office to come back and look forward to help create that compartmentalization, so you're not carrying work around with you all the time. And then I think even beyond that is having the opportunity to build those relationships better with your colleagues then means when you do come back, you've got those relationships to help pick you back up and take your mind off things and debrief with if you need. So it's kind of like twofold in the sense of having that safe space to come back to, but then also having something to help you separate between clinical work and other stuff.
So why do you think staff wellbeing is such a critical issue in OT?
I think it's like a massive thing in OT, but it's a big thing in healthcare in general, I think. Working in healthcare carries such a massive emotional toll. Like, I think it's often underestimated how much of yourself you give in a job in healthcare. And especially working in systems like the NDIS, and I'm sure like in medico-legal as well, where things are restrictive and bureaucratic and you feel like you're kind of fighting a losing battle when you're trying to advocate for people. I think the risk of burnout for people who care a lot is really high, and not having access to things that help you to, I guess, cope with that sort of stuff leads a lot of, I know a lot of OTs who have left the workforce because of burnout. So it's really a prevalent issue, and it's OT, but I think it's a lot of healthcare as well. I hear it from some fellow OTs, and you see it in the OT community in general, that workplaces that don't foster that supportive environment have higher staff turnover, and then you come across OTs who are either leaving the profession because they've been so unhappy at their workplace, or they're so burnt out that they just don't have it in them to give anymore. And I think that's we're losing as like a collective so many good OTs to unsupportive environments. It's really sad.
So we've talked about a lot of fun activities that we do, workplace initiatives, things like volunteering. Do you think it's just that keeps people, or what other things to do with workplace wellbeing do you think it takes to create that environment?
Yeah, I think there's so much that goes into creating a good environment. I mean, things like having good boundaries and having the support of the whole team to know when you can say no. That in general, I think OTs are yes people, and having the support to say no in the right times is so invaluable. So little things like that, and not feeling pressured to do stuff when you're at capacity.
Exactly. Not even just being able to say no. Sometimes not even being asked in the first place.
Yeah.
Do you know how many times someone's come to me and they've been like, I said yes to this, but like I really shouldn't have. But like I was asked and I just felt like I had to. I'm like, God, okay. So I think sometimes while people are so good intentioned to, be like, can you fit this in? Can you do this? This client really needs this.
Yeah.
Sometimes you've just got to be like, no, this is this person's booking rules. This is what they can do. Like, if I'm asking them to go outside of that, that's not being kind. That's putting undue pressure that doesn't need to go onto them. And so that's why we have things. We have things like booking rules. We have things like set start and finish times. Set how many clients can you see in a day? Yeah. What kind of clients do you want to see? What locations do you want to go to? And okay, sometimes there might be things that go outside of that, but it's rare circumstances and it's only when it's desperately needed.
And I think even beyond that, like allowing the flexibility for people to choose if they did want to work, you know, a slightly different work roster, have RDOs, have flexibility around certain things, really makes a massive difference as well, because then it allows people to balance their personal life with their work life without having to compete with the stresses of both.
Yeah.
I think everyone's their own worst enemy too when it comes to things like boundaries. And one of the biggest things that I've noticed is especially leaders. Sometimes they don't practice what they preach, and leaders are still learning, like at the end of the day. But for example, we do a journal club every single quarter, and it kind of combines something clinical, and then recently I've been trying to implement mental health related training into the journal club. And there was one that I did on boundaries and creating boundaries in a workplace. And it's so nice to, I guess, see people actually practicing what they preach now. A lot of the leadership team are kind of setting things in place and using the tools that I've provided in journal clubs. That's rewarding to me, I suppose, going, oh, what I actually did in that kind of lesson, or, you know, people are using them.
Yeah, you're never done learning. I think
Absolutely.
and all the things that we're saying that we've built in this company and like kind of created to create this healthy workplace, that's not saying that when we came into this company, it was shit. I came into this workplace thinking I've never seen anywhere better. I've never experienced anything better. I went into that interview and I was like, I want to work here. This place seems amazing. I came in, I had a little handwritten note and I had a little gift on my desk and I was like, this is where I want to be. And since then, it's just gotten better and better and better. Like there's no end to how much growth I think you should have as both a business and as a leader.
Agree.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Like the workplace was amazing when I came in too, but it's just change. That's all it is. New people come and they bring their ideas, and it just evolves over time. It doesn't get worse, or it only goes up because you're evolving in terms of new perspectives, I suppose.
What's your opinions on KPIs and how they contribute to workplace well-being and burnout?
I think in the right environment, a KPI is not a bad thing. I think it gives people a clear target in terms of what expectations are and how the day should be structured. But you hear a lot of horror stories of KPIs, especially in the community OT space. I know a lot of people, unfortunately, who have worked for companies with crazy, ridiculous KPIs, who've made all these promises about working above and beyond, and then what that means for them in terms of rewards and stuff like that. And I think that the push to achieve really high KPIs or exceed KPIs then leads into a really poor work environment of people who are stressed, who are burning out, who aren't then given the time to learn while they're trying to work.
It's inevitable, right? Like it's a business, it has to have KPIs, but there's got to be an allowance. There's got to be room. Like I've heard of so many stories of people not being able to put in certain things that they're doing during their day towards their target, things like travel, things like project work. Like things are always going to come up. God, even technical issues during the day. Yeah. You've got to look at that and go, okay, this person's a human. We're asking them to do something outside of their scope or their responsibility agreement. Of course, they're not going to meet their KPIs that week. You're not going to demonize them because of that. Exactly.
And at the end of the day, it's a number. There's a reason for, what happens in everyone's day. There's no 2 days that are going to be copy paste. Some days are going to flow perfectly, and some of them, it's going to be an absolute dumpster fire of everything going wrong, and you just can't predict that stuff. So I think while it's good as a guide and as a structure for what's expected, I also think it's by far the only thing that should be considered when you're looking at someone's work and productivity. There's so much more to the story.
I think there's one nice thing that I can say about KPIs is that it's something that the directors have always said that I appreciate, is that targets are set so that you know that you're reaching your goal. If you happen to reach that goal, like, we don't care how you get there. Like, if that means that you finished an hour early one day, that's fine. Like, if you're working your ass off and you've met your target, then God, take a chill pill. Yeah. Okay. You don't need to exceed and exceed and exceed. Exactly. So I think it's it's good to have structure, but also in a way create flexibility to be like, you've met that goal.
Well, it's like if you're hitting your KPIs early because you're working longer and earlier days in the week, then wicked, you've hit your target, knock off early the next day. Like, allow yourself the balance of, it's a target, it's not like a minimum expectation that you must do this and then keep working. Like, that's the goal of what we're trying to achieve, and if you're hitting that, then amazing. And then with that comes the flexibility. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, and that's expected, but that can be used to enable that flexibility more.
Yeah.
And I think if you kind of tie all this back to culture, what I love at our workplace, I suppose, is how you could go to every single person if you were stressed about, say, for example, a KPI. Say, I'm not hitting my target today, I'm stressed out. But it doesn't matter if it's admin, doesn't matter if it's a fellow community OT, if it's me or if it's a leader, they're all going to help you manage your priorities and just go, okay, let's calm down and let's just have a look at, what actually is important today and what can be pushed further. Like, don't overwhelm yourself with so many tasks. And I think one of the best things about our workplace is that you can go to pretty much anyone, and they will help you just figure it out. So on the back of KPIs, let's talk about leadership and mentorship. Do you think that things like supervision genuinely impact employee wellbeing?
Absolutely. I think access to regular scheduled supervision is probably one of the most important things to helping support staff wellbeing. I think for people, knowing that they've got protected time and a safe space to be able to talk about the things that's going on for them within their workload and operationally that are impacting or weighing on them, or that they're wanting to learn more about, is so hugely valuable for OT growth, for career progression, for feeling safe and supported. I think good supervision, when done well, is absolutely essential. It 100% is. It's not even just early career OTs, and it's not even just OTs, it's everyone. At any point in career, everyone benefits from good supervision, 100%.
What do you think makes good supervision?
That's a big question. I think having it regularly scheduled and protected time, knowing that it's actually for the benefit of you, it's a safe space, and it's not just like a compliance checkbox we're trying to get through. Like, this is protected time where I'm here to listen to you and we're focusing solely on you. I think that's really important. I think having structure to supervision is really important. We have a fantastic supervision guide that we use in leadership to help make the supervision sessions as productive as possible, and it goes beyond just tell me what your clinical questions are at the moment. It dives so much deeper into well-being, because how someone performs at work isn't just a product of what's happening on their clinical caseload or happening in their professional responsibilities. It's so much bigger than that. It's capability, it's capacity, it's emotional resilience. There's so many factors that play into how you can support someone in supervision. And then I also think having the right approach to how you supervise someone is really important. So not just giving someone the answers, it's helping ask the right questions. It's providing opportunity for them to develop their knowledge without you just vomiting the answer. I think that creates a space of learning and also of fostering self-confidence, because a lot of the time people know the answer and they just want reassurance or guidance into where they can find the right information. And then I think another aspect of really good supervision is the preparation from the supervisee. Coming in knowing that you can ask whatever question you want and be met with a safe space, but then coming prepared with what you're wanting to find out will help get the most out of it as well.
And everyone's different too, right? Like, you've got to manage different learning styles, different emotional states, different ways of receiving feedback. Everybody's so different in the way that they like to be told that they've done things right, that they've done things wrong, that they don't want to be told at all. Like, you've got to kind of meet the person where they're at. Like, it's
I feel like the more you do it, the better your interpersonal skills get at figuring out what that person is looking for from you at that time, you do better at meeting them at that place.
Yeah.
I think it also ties back to that note of whether your workplace is psychologically safe.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, the leaders can't do everything for you. You have to contribute as well. And someone coming into a supervision meeting with everything filled out is just a genuine indicator of, like, you're in a psychologically safe workplace. You feel like you can ask questions. You feel valued. You feel heard.
100%.
Yeah. I think the most worrying thing is when someone comes into the meeting and fills nothing out. Because you're like, either one, you haven't thought about it, or two, you're not confident enough to say what your problems are or what you're struggling with. I think it's not really supervision, but part of our check-ins is we also like to talk about what we've achieved and how well we've done. And I often find that's something that people struggle really with, is actually saying what they've achieved over the past like 3 to 6 months, however long that we're talking about. And you've got to be like, okay, you've put 2 things down here, but is that really it? Like, what else have you done? Like, creating that kind of positive place that lets people come out of their shell and really realize, you know, that they do have it, they do know it, they are doing a lot within their work.
Yeah, and the impact that has on someone's sense of self-efficacy and their confidence is crazy when you, like, give someone the space to feel like they have achieved and they do know what they're doing. Yeah. It shows in how they engage with everyone else, but also how they do their work. Okay, so moving on to some rapid fire myth busting. The first myth is that leaders need to have it all together.
God, no.
They know what they're doing, right?
Totally, absolutely. Take it so you don't make it. No, God, as we said earlier, like, everyone is always learning. There is never a time that I think you should say that you know everything, or that the way that you're doing something is 100% correct either. You can be 99% sure, but there is always room for improvement. There is always something that you don't know, or some way that you haven't learned yet.
Leaders are human beings too.
They are. We're all learning, we're all growing. Myth number 2, strong culture happens naturally if you just hire good people.
So incredibly wrong. I think that hiring good people, from, I guess, an OT perspective, that could be clinically, but from a cultural perspective, it's really about how that person engages with the team. It's not just up to us, again, like leading the horse to water. It's not just up to us. We give people initiatives, and it's how they involve themselves in it. So I guess everything that we've spoken about comes down to, I guess, that one person willing to contribute to the team.
You could have an entirely great team full of people that are a little bit introverted and, you know, don't really like getting out of their shell. They're great workers, but they might feel awkward approaching other people, and that's going to make a workplace that everyone feels disconnected and they're not supported because they can barely interact with each other. So it's about enabling people to, in ways that work for them, to build this culture and this system that makes them feel good.
Myth number 3, flexible work means lower standards.
Incorrect.
Yes.
I think it's about balance, right? Like, you never want to create a workplace where people are not challenged enough, because that's also not going to create a healthy workplace. Like, people aren't going to stick around if they're told, you know, okay, you've got this KPI, but whatever. Like, you don't need to be in until 10 o'clock. Like, it might seem great when you say it like that, but if they're not challenged and they're not feeling fulfilled, what even kind of role is that?
I think too, with giving flexibility, it's also giving trust, and when people feel trusted, they're likely to be performing better anyway. Like, I know for me personally, having the flexibility to work the job around what's important to me in my life has made me even more productive and more successful in my role. And I think without that flexibility, it can be quite limiting.
Yeah. And one thing that I think is great at MLA is that there are genuinely people, for example, the flexibility of working at home. There's genuinely some people that go, I can't work at home because I won't do anything.
Yeah.
And I love how, like, honest that is.
Yeah.
But it just shows that, like, that's just good work ethic. Yeah. If you have that trust, then it's easy.
if people aren't doing their job, you will know. It's not like people can lie about hitting billables or lie and not do anything all day and just get away with it. You're always going to have some evidence of people getting their shit done.
Yeah.
And if that's happening, okay, go for it.
And I like that where we are, like at MLEA, the approach is always taken that trust is assumed and flexibility is assumed. Like you assume the best in people. You assume that everyone is trying their hardest. So it's not like you need to work hard to prove you deserve flexibility or prove you deserve that trust. It's just inherently granted to you. Myth number 4, culture isn't a priority when workloads are high.
No. If anything, it's the complete opposite of that.
Yeah.
But I suppose, finding the time is like the biggest thing of all. But it's not impossible. So I think one important thing for me is that I've started doing in the last 2 years or so is planning things at the start of the year.
Yeah.
Like that is probably one of the best things I've done, because if you just do it as you go, people's calendars are just going to fill up, and then you're not going to have that room to give them those opportunities to step away from their everyday work. So yeah, I think that's completely wrong. I think if anything, culture kind of trumps your workload sometimes, because you need to be stable.
And sometimes that's when you need it most.
Yeah.
That connection is when you're feeling like there's a lot going on. Sometimes that connection with the team can be really important. And I think, like you were saying, pre-booking it in advance and protecting that time to get as many people as possible involved makes the biggest difference.
And not feeling like that's the second priority, not feeling like, oh, I've got this report to get out, so I can't go to that event, or I can't, talk to people during the day. Like, take your breaks, finish on time, go to the event, go sit down and talk to someone at lunchtime. Work is not the priority. Your well-being is the priority.
And final rapid fire question, what are your thoughts on leaders and workplaces referring to their team as family?
Hot topic. I'm kind of on both sides of this one. Like, I definitely think that there are some workplaces who really push that narrative of like, we're just one big happy family, where there's one big unit and we all get along so well, and really behind the scenes, like it's not. I think there's definitely points where I do feel like my team is kind of like family, but I would never, like, say a new employee walking into the workplace, I would never go up to him and be like, oh my God, you're my family.
Welcome to the family.
Like, maybe you guys that I've been around for so long and have now my friends and I've known for a while, I'll be like, yeah, you guys are like my family. But it's not something I feel like should be associated with the work itself or with the workplace itself.
Yeah, I just wouldn't make it a core value.
No. It's okay, it's not going on the website.
It opens up implications around, would you do that for your family?
Yeah.
And it can come with these biases and expectations that probably shouldn't be there for a workforce, maybe for a family. But I do agree with you. You develop relationships. I mean, you spend most of your lives with these people. It's like day in, day out. You've got shared experiences. So you do form really close friendships with the people that you work with. So I'm the same as you. I see both sides.
Yeah.
So to wrap up this conversation about culture and well-being in a workplace, what is something that you think workplaces often underestimate about culture?
In my role specifically, one major challenge I think is catering to every individual, to organise whole team events and initiatives. People don't understand how difficult it can be to make sure that everyone is happy and everyone is finding this activity fulfilling. So I would say that's a big thing for me.
Especially in today's environment where we've got hybrid workforce, you've got people online, you're trying to do in-house events, but they're not there. You've got to make them feel included, do extra things for them. And also just different personalities. Like, I know you say you want to make everybody happy, but not everybody is going to love every event. That doesn't mean that you don't keep doing them, though. It doesn't mean that you don't stop trying, because the people that don't like that event will probably like something else. It's all about trial and error and just doing all these things and keeping consistency in a variety of things to eventually, overall, will make the workplace happy.
Yeah.
And I think you do a really good job at that.
Agreed.
Well, that's it for today's episode. Thanks for tuning in. If this episode resonated with you, we would appreciate if you shared it with a team member or a leader. Culture matters, and it's something that we all shape together. So we'll see you next time.